Guttermouth, a street punk band from Huntington Beach, California, formed in 1989 by lead singer Mark Adam, who is their only consistent member. This band has had constant lineup changes, especially since the mid 2000s, and has since then not released any major albums, only a couple of EPs. They were most active in the 90s and early to mid 2000s and have 10 albums. They are known for their outrageous and sometimes sarcastic and mocking lyrics, their wild behavior at their shows, and their criticism and behavior towards other performers in on their own tours. Now, their first album, full-length LP, has one great song on it. It's called Mr. Barbecue, which is a quirky and odd song, but quite interesting to listen to. Their next two albums are not quite as good, not nearly as good. One of which is called Friendly People, which I wouldn't recommend. There's really nothing good about the album. The second is called Terry Yakamoto. Again, not a very great album unless you just really like street punk, and it's kind of like listening to a lot of B-sides that were not very notable for the most part. But their fourth album, Musical Monkey, has a couple of interesting songs in it that are just kind of fun, but there's two songs that really stand out. Baker's Dozen, which has great riffs and a lot of energy, and a song called What If, which again is a quirky, rather odd song, but very memorable. Their follow-up album is called Gorgeous. Most of the songs are really just so and forgettable, but then they have the song High Balls, which is by far the best song of their entire discography and probably one of the best punk songs of all time. This song is a rather epic punk anthem and drinking song, which you could hear in a bar, or you could imagine hearing in bars and anywhere they play punk rock where people would sing along to. After that, they released Covered with Ants with a song called Chug-A-Lug Night, which is another party song with a lot of great energy to it. Following this, they released Gusto with a song called Campfire Girl number 62, a song with a lot of energy. Also on this album, I would recommend Vacation, a song with very good rhythm, and a song called Lookout for Number One, which is a rather catchy, piratey sailor song, is the best way to describe it. It's kind of reminds me of Celtic punk a little bit. Songs, that could have that sort of area of music. Like, there's been a few bands like that that came out of Boston that, like the Dropkick Murphys, for example. It kind of reminds me of something like that. Now, they also have an album called Eat Your Face, which came out after that. This is one of those albums which didn't have any really standout songs and is not very notable. I just recommend skipping it. I want to mention, though, there is another song on Gusto that I'd recommend called My Girlfriend, which is repetitive, catchy, repetitive literally, as in it repeats a lot of the same verses, but rather catchy, kind of a soft song, and something in the vein of like cowpunk, kind of a retro feel to it. And lastly, with their album Save the Planet, which came out in 2006, most of the album is very so and forgettable. But there is one song I'd really recommend called God Shave the Queen, also known as the Work Song. This is a quirky song with great harmonies and really good riffs, which is one of their better songs overall. Now, since 2006, they haven't released any other LPs, but they have released two EPs along with the various EPs they've released around the last, their entire career. They have a few cover songs, but most are not very notable. They have, for example, a Sublime cover for April 29th, and it's so, not really too fantastic. But the two EPs they released in the 2000s more recently is one's called New Car Smell, which has some okay songs on it, nothing really notable. And then there's a second EP around the same time called Got It Made. On that particular EP, I'd recommend the song Freckles the Pony, which is just another song with really great energy to it. And this band overall can be categorized as having a lot of really catchy songs with kind of a drunken sailor vibe to them. A lot of times they're really weird and they're really oddball, just a lot of quirk to them. But if you like that kind of music and you want to have catchy songs you can kind of sing to that have just offbeat lyrics, then Guttermouth might be the kind of band you might want to listen to. Overall, I would rate Guttermouth being a 3-star band out of 5.